Hello learners and welcome to this module on linkages in the trade. I am Dr. Saurabh Kumar Dikshit from Department of Tourism and Hotel Management, Northeastern University, Shillong. The present module attempts to demonstrate the linkages among the various constituents of the tourism industry to successfully market its products and services. After the completion of this module, the learners will be able to know about the various constituents of the tourism industry which contribute in providing the total experience to the tourists. The learners will be able to understand the interdependence of these constituents on each other. They will also be able to learn about the business relationships amongst these constituents. Let us now start with the introduction of this particular module. This module takes into account the linkages within the tourism industry segments which are needed for marketing of the tourism products and services. It is widely acknowledged fact that for a tourist, it is total experience that matters a lot. However, tourist total experience is dependent on products and services produced and delivered by various organizations and individuals. Inefficiency, bad quality or failure of delivering the promised services by an segment can have an adverse impact on the business or on the others. Hence, it is essential that proper business relationships are established amongst the various constituents of the tourism industry. Beginning with the listing of the different constituents of the tourism industry, the module further demonstrates their interdependence, business relations, and united efforts for promoting and positioning these products and services. Briefly, the module also mentions the linkages of tourism industry with the other services and goods industries which have a bearing on tourism industry. Now we are going to talk about the significance of efficient linkages in tourism industry. The components of tourism industry, that is transport industry, accommodation sector, entertainment industry, food and beverage industry, have a complex interrelationships due to changing buying behavior of the travelers. The above mentioned linkages form a basis of effectiveness in tourism industry and vice versa. We are going to discuss some of the important reasons of this significance. In recent times, all businesses are found to become competitive and tourism is no exception in that. Perfection is a desirable quality in order to gain competitive advantage. Consumers have become well informed over the past years because of the advent of the social media and other channels. The increased number of tourists can also be attributed to the increase of disposable income over the years. Sustainability is now an important fact, or it is considered an important part of almost all tourism development initiatives. The linkages in the constituents of the tourism industry are codependent not only in terms of their business but also in relation to identify their marketing strategies. Now we are going to discuss about the intersectoral integration of the hotel business. Tourism is considered to be a superset industry containing a set of interrelated business participants. For example, industries like transport, which may include air, water or surface transport, and travel companies such as different tour operators, travel agents, recreational and entertainment institutions which are situated at different destinations, handicraft business operators and accommodation units including hotel, motel and other supplementary accommodations, and the provision of many goods and services demanded by the tourists. Curiously, most of the constituent industries also strive to provide varied commercial and non-commercial activities over and above providing their services to the tourists. Now we are going to discuss about different constituents. So basically the constituents are the air, land or travel industry, entertainment, tourism industry, hotels and food and beverage industry. The various segments that constitute tourism industry along with different tourism organizations are taken into considerations. Then the ultimate tourism product is a package which includes destinations, transport, accommodation, food and beverages, entertainment, shops and emporiums situated at different destinations. Along with these primary constituents, there are certain other aspects which form part of the tourist experience at a destination, and these include different types of services like guiding services, escorting, facilitation at the entry points, ecology and environment of that particular region, attitude of the host population, health and hygiene conditions, and the security. Today, a variety of other services also add value to the overall tourism product, and these may include banking services, which may also include the credit card services, insurance services, which can include travel insurances, which is being offered to different kind of services, and postal and telecommunication services. Keeping in view of the above mentioned aspects, we can say that each of these has developed its own specialized area of service to the tourists. For example, the transport sector, we have airlines, railways, coaches of different kind of agencies, taxis and car rental companies. And in the accommodation sector, we have different type of accommodation units, ranging from star category hotels to the paying guest accommodations. So guests may decide their accommodation, guests may decide their product as per their interest, as per their budget. Similarly, in relation to food and beverage area, we have different restaurants catering to the special type of cuisines. Not only this, among the intermediaries like travel agencies and other tour operators, specializations have emerged to cater the different kind of customers. Some tour operators specialize in the area of adventure tour, some in cultural tours, or some in convention kind of activities. In spite of these specializations, the various constituents of the tourism industry have to rely on each other, and the nature of this relationship has a bearing on the marketing mix, that is product designing to product delivery and the promotion, etc. The importance of linkages in tourism industry is not distributed equally, but they vary according to the respective roles in operations. The linkages such as transport industry, accommodation industry, ground operators, tour operator, etc. are considered of more importance and are usually found to be kept on the first level in the management process. In the modern era, tourism sector has economical, sociological, cultural, political, environmental and spatial dimensions, and with many functions. Down the years, there has been an increasing realization of tourism as a human activity and industry, as well as a catalyst for economic growth and development for the region. As in the case of any other industry, tourism industry extracts resources from the economy, adds value to the value and delivers products that are marketable. The sole difference present in the absence of tangible product, and like in the case of the manufacturing industry, the nature of the product in this case of tourism is intangible and joint or composite. The tourism industry influences various auxiliary, they are also known as specific, and ancillary, they are also known as general industries. Modern tourism industry is engaged in a swift evolution towards a new industry having wide-ranging ramifications for organizations in the travel and tourism industry, in particular among the developing and developed countries. Now we are going to discuss about how various components benefits the tourism industry. So prominent benefits, the prominent benefits that the industry is getting because of these components are listed as below. The components adds in the development of touristic infrastructure. It helps in socio-economical development of the region. It improves the negotiating power. It reduces the cost. It identifies and develops untapped tourism potential of the region. It helps in promoting the destination's attraction. It conserves and protects the natural and cultural heritage of the region. It helps in circulation of the money. Let us consider a small case study of safari lodge tourism in South Africa. Since the last decade of 20th century, the country has remained as one of the most visited destinations in the continent. A good portion of its visitors has been the high wealth tourists from either Western European or North American countries. African safari lodges are prime example of high value and low volume accommodation units, which are pretty much focused on focusing guests with the luxury. This format of tourism may seem niche for rest of the world, but in Southern African context, safari lodges are one of the mainstream tourism concept. With the government emphasis on intersectoral linkages, South Africa's responsible tourism guidelines place huge significance on local procurement. Safari lodge tourism has the potential to lift up the economical backward communities, but research suggests that their participation in the supply chain to be more beneficial than communities having direct involvement in core tourism activities. Apart from the wildlife and luxury accommodations, local gastronomy play a vital role in ensuring guest satisfaction. Studies have found that only a handful of the properties source their supplies themselves. The rest were found to employ intermediary suppliers. In the case of ingredients required in the kitchen, they were found to be sourced from the local supplier as well. The ease of procurement for ingredients was found to decrease as one moved further away from locally established agriculture sectors. The local economic development was evident when it was found large number of properties had domestic owners. This helps us to understand the importance of the interlinkages of tourism trade. Sustainable tourism development across the developing world is aided by the tourism and its ability to infuse through the linkages with the local economy. Now we are going to discuss about the interdependence of different constituents that we have discussed till now. The constituents of tourism industry are dependent on each other, not only in terms of their business but also in relation to determining their marketing strategies. For example, a tour operator will be able to package a tour only with the help of the accommodation sector, transport sector, destination attractions, and guide or escort services, etc. Hence, the service quality or design of the service has an impact on the product of the tour operators. In the same way, if a destination is marketed for a up-budget tourist, the airline in its product formulation will introduce executive class in its services. We can also go on addition of such example in relation to different type of tourism services. Hence, it's become very necessary for the providers of any such tourism or tourism services to have wider view of tourism, and they need to understand different kind of tourism services and products in totality. Very often, enterprises fail because their failure to adopt such kind of approach. A hotel might have developed its product very well and prepared itself to meet full occupancy during a season. But if the accessibility to the destination is affected by the breakdown of the transport sector, the business of the hotel is bound to suffer. Thus, it is imperative that the marketing personnel of an organization take into account the interdependence of various constituents of tourism industry while designing, developing and promoting their products and services. The interdependence of private and public sector has a major impact on tourism industry. Conditions of road, airports, electricity supply, water supplies, law enforcement agencies activities, etc. comes under the jurisdiction of the government or the public sector. Banks provide capital to tourism entrepreneurs for establishing their enterprises and credit card facilities to tourists. Insurance companies offer and provide insurance covers to all transport operators, tourists, hotel operators, etc. The level and quality of these public utility services have a direct relationship with the tourism development in a region. Now we are going to discuss about the business relations of these constituent factors, these constituent sectors of tourism. The interdependent nature of tourism products and services calls for well-planned mutual business relationships amongst the providers of tourism services. Such business relationships have to be established not only with the constituents but at times also with those who are providing similar types of services which your own company is offering. This in fact is necessary for building your own image in the eyes of the customers. For example, take a situation when one of your regular customers fails to do advance booking in your accommodation unit. She arrives at your reception to get a room, but your occupancy is full. You cannot provide the customer with a room, but at the same time, you do not want to lose the customer for your future sales. What do you do in that situation? Since you want to keep the goodwill of the customer, you cannot say no to the customer and ask her to look for another hotel. A better approach would be to politely explain the situation to the customer and then make efforts to get her a room booked in some other hotel unit. Here you will have to contact the other hotel to ensure her booking. This will make an impression on the customer that you have cared for the customer, and he would certainly remember the services that is extended by the hotel personnel. Many other examples can be cited in this regard. You are a tourist transport operator and you have a fleet of 10 coaches. You have got an order for the convention where 15 coaches are to be provided. Naturally, you will have to make up these 5 coaches from some other transport operator of your area. In the same way, airlines also establish business relations with each other. If one airline is doing one sector and the other airlines is doing another sector, it would always be better that they link their arrival and departure time so that the customer of one airline can be served from the another airlines, and they need not to be have the inconvenience of waiting for one airlines and another airlines. Many a times, 2 or more constituents of the tourism industry establish business relations to offer joint products or services. Whether it is a question of deciding on commission, offering discounts, negotiating discounts, and commissions, deciding on the quality of service to be offered, etc. In all such situations, the interacting companies have to hold formal business relationships. This is also necessary to maintain business ethics. Now we are going to discuss about the joint promotions. The interdependent nature of the tourism products and services make joint promotion of the products and services of various constituents a necessity. For example, Air India inbound tour operators and various hotel pools pool their resources for promoting India as a destination in the tourism generating market. The Department of Tourism, Government of India provides the umbrella for such activities. The brochure prepared by the Department of Tourism are made available to tour operators and travel agencies, etc. for the promotion purposes. However, this does not mean that individual producers of services should not carry their own efforts in this regard. They too have their own independent promotional strategies and plans. But wherever possible, joint promotion is carried out as it is beneficial to all. There are occasions when 2 organizations that have entered into a business relationship go for joint promotion. This is not the case only at the macro level, but even in micro level, operations also operate business ventures in this manner. For example, when a small hotel unit establishes links with the taxi services, they both are not only interdependent in terms of the business, they are also procuring for each other, but they are also promoting each other's services. Such examples can be multiplied by citing many other tourism operations. In crisis situation, joint promotion is the only tool left for the tourism industry segments to save their business. One can cite here the example of so-called plague epidemic in India, which badly affected international tourism inflow in the country. It were the joint efforts of tourism industry segments under the direction and guidance of Department of Tourism that an attempt was made to do away the misconceptions and fears about coming to India, and joint image building promotional campaigns were launched. A case in point when we consider to conduct the familiarization tour and the way the various tourism industry segments participate in them. Now we are going to discuss about the joint action efforts which are being conducted by these constituents. So various constituents of the tourism industry are not only related to each other through interdependence, business relations or joint promotions, but they are also go in for joint actions. Such actions are initiated primarily to safeguard their own interests. Various associations such as ITO, FHRAI, ADTOI, etc. play a dominant role in this regard. Besides these associations at a national level, the small players organize themselves at a local level in a region, city, a small destination. A variety of issues like tariff, local taxes, local regulations, maintenance of public works, etc. are jointly taken up because they have bearing on business operations of each segment. Joint action is also useful to put social pressure in case any organization adopts wrong practices or fails to honor the agreements. Of late, particularly all the constituents of tourism industry have realized the importance of HRD in order to provide better quality of service to satisfy the customer's requirement. They have been jointly urging upon the government to enhance the quality of professional and skilled manpower by introducing more professional courses in different institutions. Keeping in view the above mentioned aspects, it is safe to make the statement that linkages in the travel industry or the constituents of the tourism industry are dependent on each other. They achieve this not only in terms of their business but also in relation to establishing their marketing strategies. It can further illustrated with the example of like a tour company will require the help of transportation sector, accommodation sector, destination attraction of particular region, destination organization and so forth in order to package a suitable tour for their clientele. Therefore, all tourism services are found to have a direct impact on the product of the tour operators. Also, it is critical that tourism planners, policymakers and even tour operators consider the interdependence of the various linkages of the travel industry while structuring tourism plans, policies and designing, developing and promoting tour packages. Dear learners, let us now sum up what we have discussed during this session. So we have covered the constituents of tourism industry. The various segments that constitute the tourism industry includes destinations, transportations, accommodation sector, food and beverage sector, entertainment sector, shops and emporiums situated at the destinations. In addition to that, we have also talked about interdependence in the constituents of the tourism industry. In addition to that, we have also covered business relations amongst the providers of tourism services. We have also discussed in this module about the joint promotions of the products and services of the various constituents. In addition to that, we have also covered the joint action of the constituents of tourism industry. I hope by studying this module, the learners will be able to understand the sectoral linkages of marketing, hospitality and tourism products. Thank you very much.